Hey, it's GR here with Redwall Marketing. Welcome to the Top of the Wall podcast. And today we're got sort of a short podcast about just the importance of planning and setting goals for the year. So we're in the first week. I guess we're wrapping up the first week of February. One of the things that I do in January and February, I try to do it as much as I can in January, is I start to work with clients on their goals for the year. So looking back at 2014 in this case, and looking at 2015 and seeing where things can improve, finding out where they want to be by the end of the year, and then coming up with strategic plans to get there. And what I find out often is that unless a business is kind of coaxed into doing this, a business owner, it's usually not on their mind. They kind of tend to move forward and generally have an idea of where they want to be at the end of the year, but it's not planned. It's not written down. It's not broken out into how am I going to get there, doing the math on, what the percentage of increase they're looking for is, and then finding a way to get there, breaking that down into, how are we going to get it? How are we going to, manage that? Where are we going to increase sales or increase profits? How are we going to do that? And then really just setting a hard goal for it. So it's always interesting to do this with clients. I had a meeting yesterday where I went over some things with a client, and we discussed their goals for 2015, and really even further. We went into a 5-year plan of, hey, this is where we should be in 5 years, and now we're gonna build a strategy around that. Like, hey, how's that going to happen? What are we going to do to get there? Which areas can we target? Are we, setting up new divisions and new locations? Are we able to raise prices anywhere? Are we able to fine tune our marketing and sales process? Those are all very valid questions that will have a massive effect on either good or bad on the bottom line if you're not planning or if you are planning. And so, this is a good time to do that. You should have all your numbers ready from last year and know exactly. The books are closed. You know how much you took in, how much you spent, what employee costs were. Overall profit should be easy to figure out right now. And then you can compare that. Did you do better in 2014? Did you do worse? How has the year started already? Where's the industry going? What changes did you make last year that were effective? Which ones weren't? It's a really good time to really evaluate that. I can't stress enough. I worked with another client last week where we discussed goals for last year, and we basically hit them, which is great. They were able to achieve exactly what they were looking to do, and then so we set a goal for this year, and interestingly, the goal is even less than what last year's was, but we're trying to work with what's realistic and what we think we can do for the year. And so now we build a plan around that, find a way to make sure that target is reached, that goal is reached. We want to make sure that we're putting systems in place, because if you just say, yeah, we want a better year, right, we just want a better year, too often that's done by just hoping more people come in, more people show up, more people call. So yeah, we want a better year, but how are you going to get that better year? How are you going to do it? Are your advertising methods effective? Should you be dropping certain things or increasing other things? Are your costs out of control? Are your employees living up to the expectations you had for them when they signed on and not costing you money? Are your, is everything you're using, all the resources and tools, are they all valuable to your business, or could you maybe drop some? Maybe you need to consolidate some things. I'm not a big fan of cutting to grow a business, but there are times where you might be looking at something saying, gosh, we never use this. It's just being paid for every month. We need to be more efficient with it. So there are times where being more efficient makes sense to make some cuts. I'm not a fan, however, of raising the AC a few degrees at the cost of your employee comfort just to save a buck. So not a fan of that. But take a look at 2014. compare it to 2013. Are you up or are you down? Set a goal for 2015, and don't just make it some unrealistic thing. What have you seen for growth before, and can you identify areas where you can make changes to achieve that growth? Don't just expect that because you want a 20% increase this year, the market's just going to show up, 20% better for you. That's not how it works. All right. It's great to say, hey, I hope it's a good year. I hope people have plenty of money to spend, and I hope they show up and do business with us. That's okay, fine. But how do you strategically get that 20%? Take a look at your ads, what's effective, what's not. Can you start a new campaign? Can you tweak an old campaign? Maybe there's a campaign you ran once that was really successful, but you haven't run it again. And so it's a time to break that back out. There could be campaigns costing you money that aren't as effective that you need to cut. Really take a look at the year. It's a great time. These first couple months are a great time to plan out the year and see if you can, increase certain areas to get that goal. So, do yourself a favor, do me a favor, set a goal for 2015. Really break down all the areas of the business. Take some time, go grab a coffee, be alone, no distractions, and really set a goal for the company. And then see if you can tweak certain areas, match that up. So in other words, if you're saying, hey, we're going to increase in 20% this year, find out where that's going to be. If you're doing product sales, which products are not being sold to their potential? Which ones could have a price increase? Which ones could have a better marketing plan so that they sell better? Which services should be sold better or for higher profits? Which ad campaign? For instance, if you're doing an ad campaign, let's say you got a campaign out there and you're spending a couple $1,000s on something, and it's got a return. Maybe it's a 4-to-1 return, which is awesome. So for every $2,000 you spend on this campaign, you're bringing in $8,000. Well, can you increase that to 4,000 spent and bring in 16,000? Because there's an extra, profit right there. Just by increasing certain things that are already working, you can already have a better profit. Can you display something better, something that's not being sold? Can you get rid of a product that might be taking up a lot of your employee time or your resources that's not selling well, and you could fill that time with something that's highly effective. Maybe your staff could focus on something more cost effective for you or has a better return for you. So there's some ideas there. But the point is, at this time of year, and it's on my mind because I'm dealing with, different clients right now, different meetings where we're just planning. And my question always is, obviously you want to get better. How much better? And it always makes them think a little bit. They always have to kind of scratch their head. Well, I think we can do 20, 25, or, I think we can do this. Well, what is that based on? When's the last time you grew that fast? Have you done that before? Have you had that kind of a growth spurt in a year? What does that equal? How are we going to get there? Are we just hoping it happens, or are we going to have a strategic plan? Is there, missed opportunities, areas we're not exploring, products we're not selling? How do we really dissect this? So really get into it, really dig deep, and make sure that you've got a realistic goal for the year and that you've mapped out exactly how you're going to get to that goal. And I promise you, you're going to have a much better shot at hitting it than if you just, woke up January 1st, 2015 and said, hey, let's hope for a better year. It's just not very effective. You can hope all you want. So that's it for today. Just a quick reminder to look back at the last few years. I'm always big on that. I want to know where I am today versus last year versus the year before that or before that. And it gets me excited a little bit, even if it was a down year, it's a chance to reset. It's a chance to say, hey, last year was down, but we can bounce back because here's the areas that we failed at last year. Here's the areas where we really dropped the ball, and we're going to fix that. So, there's ways to do that. I hope that you had a good year last year. I hope it was your best year ever. And that, or if it wasn't, that it was better than 2013 and it's working back towards being your best year ever. And that you can put together some strategies and plans in place to make 2015 even better. But again, half the battle is just knowing your numbers and being able to project where you want to be, but also have a plan for that. And I can't emphasize enough that, I've got my clients that I work with on a one-to-one basis, very good at tracking. That's my big thing. And you can't figure out any of this if you don't track. So if you don't know your numbers from last year or which ads were effective and which campaigns were effective, you're going to struggle. So make sure you're doing that. Number one, I believe we have a podcast on tracking or a blog post out there at redwallmarketing.com about the importance of tracking. So very, very, very important for you to do. Track those numbers, plan, take some time, this weekend even, to really evaluate your business and see if you can improve it for 2015 and how you're going to do it. And please, please, please put it down on paper. Get a strategy together. Put it down on paper. And as always, if you need help doing that, you can reach out to us on redwallmarketing.com. Just hit the contact page, and you can send us an email. Let me know what your goals are and what you're struggling with, and how I might be able to help you out. And we'll take care of that. Until next time, we'll see you.